Welcome to Awakening the Spiritual Mind. I am Elisabeth Carrio and I am your host. In this series, I share extracts from my book Reflections and practices to help you pause, realign, and awaken to what truly matters. In part one, we opened the door to awakening. We saw that what often feels like a crisis may, in fact, be a sacred signal. Now, in part two, the journey deepens. And it's important to see this journey as having three main steps. The first step is understanding, knowing yourself and the environment you are living in. This is the work of seeing clearly what part live inside of you, what stories guide your choice, and what cultural norms shape your identity. Second step is integrating, or sometimes withdrawing for a while, to allow what is new to gestate. Transformation is not immediate. It needs a pause, a kind of incubation, alchemic incubation, where the future can take root. And the third step is acting, re-entering the world with authenticity, guided not only by practical intelligence, but also by spiritual intelligence. The capacity to ask not just how and when, but why. In this part two, we begin with the first step, understanding. We will explore your inner world and your environment, not to label or judge, but to see clearly. Because clarity is a bridge between meaning and movement. Now let's share an extract of the opening of a part two of my book.
Part 2, Understanding Ourselves and the Environment. In part 1, we opened the door to spiritual awakening. We saw that what feels like crisis may in fact be a sacred signal, an invitation to listen more deeply. Now in part 2, the real journey begins. And the first step is understanding your inner terrain. Where are you truly? What patterns guide your choices? What unconscious beliefs shape your identity? This part is also about understanding your environment, the culture you live in, and the values it promotes. Before we descend into deeper transformation, we need to map the self, not to label or judge, but to see clearly. This is the groundwork, the bridge between meaning and movement. You will begin to recognize your inner landscape, as well as the cultural narratives that influence your beliefs, behaviors, and sense of self. Awareness begins with information, and information, when digested through reflection, becomes wisdom. This step is essential and often overlooked. You are not a single static self. You are a living ecosystem of parts. To live well in the outer world, you must first learn to navigate your inner world, and then decode the systems that surround you. Once you understand your internal and external patterns, the world loses its power to define or control you. You begin to move differently, not because your life is perfect, but because your center is anchored. In this part of the book, you will explore tools from Jungian psychology, voice dialogue, chapter 4, and archetypal systems such as astrology, chapter 5, and Kabbalistic psychology, chapter 6. These practices are not meant to fix you, but to help you understand and integrate the many aspects of your being. You are not fragmented. You are multifaceted, not a single identity, but a constellation of selves. We will also explore the concept of life cycles, chapter 7, so you can recognize where you are in your journey and what this moment is asking of you. These insights are grounded in transpersonal psychology, a field that bridges psychology, spirituality, and consciousness studies. In part 3, we will explore this discipline more fully. But for now, we begin by turning inward. not to retreat from life, but to prepare to re-enter it with authenticity, clarity, and purpose. Before going deeper, take time to reflect on where you've been. This is your invitation to observe what has shaped you and to notice what may now be ready to shift. I used to believe I was coherent, but one day I noticed how the good student kept sabotaging the free creator, how the confident coach was silencing the angry teenager. It wasn't madness, it was an unheard inner family. That day, I stopped searching for one single real me. I started listening to each of them, and that's when peace began.
What we just heard reminds us that before any transformation, we need a map. You wouldn't start a journey without knowing where you are. The same is true for inner work. Too often, when we feel lost or restless, we try to change things immediately. New goals, new jobs, new relationships. But without understanding the patterns inside us and the environment that shapes us, these changes do not last. Understanding yourself means recognizing that you are not one static identity. You are a living ecosystem of different parts. The achiever, the caregiver, the rebel, the artist, the doctor, they all live within you. Each carries a piece of your story. Listening to them doesn't mean you are fragmented. It means you are well enough to hold complexity. It's not the same. Understanding also means seeing the environment you live in, the culture that prizes productivity, the systems that reward certain behaviors and silence others. Many of our struggles come not only from within us, but from trying to fit into structures that do not honor who we truly are. And this is why awareness is powerful. When you see clearly both the voices inside you and the forces around you, the world loses its power to define you. You begin to act not from habit or pressure, but from choice. So part 2 is about grounding, about mapping the self and the world, so that when the time for integration and action comes, you will not just react. You will respond with clarity, with coherence, and with an anchored center. So let's pause now for a moment. Take a breath. Bring to mind 2 parts of yourself that often conflicts. Perhaps the achiever and the dreamer, or the caregiver and the rebel. Notice them both. Imagine them not as enemies, but as a same inner family, as complementary. What shifts when you hold them with curiosity instead of judgment? So in your awakening journal or in your notebook, write the answer to this question. What part of me have I silenced? What part of me is asking to be heard now? Take a moment to answer. Observe your thoughts and the reaction of your body. Listen deeply. As we move deeper into part 2, you will discover 4 perspectives, not only self-understanding, but also on how to see more clearly the environment you live in. This awareness will strengthen your critical thinking and expand your vision. The chapters in this part are not about fixing yourself. They are about building a foundation of awareness, learning to see clearly inside and out. In the next episode, we begin with chapter 4, You Are Not Just One Self. What happens when the mask cracks, when the voices you have ignored finally begin to speak. So thank you for listening to Awakening a Spiritual Mind.